Alright, so I'm on pre-release candidate 2 for 1.16.2. And in one of the earlier snapshots they added, well, they didn't actually add it, they fixed a bug. That projectiles like ender pearls, snowballs, and eggs will actually float in bubble streams. That's what this is. Soul sand at the bottom. And so you're able to create very simple ender pearl containers or whatever they're called. There's an actual word for it, but I don't know it. Ilmango has an amazing old video about how to do limitless wireless teleportation with this feature, and I'm assuming this will make it a hell of a lot easier to do that. But my use for it is going to be a lot more simple. It is a very simple throw the ender pearl up, press a button, and it keeps it there. This is mainly made for servers. Say you have a group base with a bunch of people. They can come in, press the button, and recall you back to the base. Say you're out in an adventure, you're like 100,000 blocks away, you don't really have the any nether highway set up to where you are, you don't have any obsidian to make a portal on you, and you're honestly just kind of lazy, you don't want to run all the way back. So you just have a recall station, or a bunch of recall stations, one for every group member. This is a very simple version. It's just a button with a toggle on it. Pushes in the soul sand, pulls it out. It's very basic, and then just a barrel or a chest full of pearls. This one is a bit more complicated. Instead of just pulling out and pushing in the soul sand, it actually swaps it with a iron trap door. I have one down here too, simply because it's a good way to align the pearl. For example, in this, if you walk all the way into the middle, and then let it come down. I could have just not pressed the button. Sometimes you'll like glitch into the wall. Yeah, see? Even though I was clearly out, going a little left, I had experience where it would go into the wall. I had experience where it was just the trapdoor up here. And because you couldn't align yourself perfectly, it could go into this wall, or it could go under this trapdoor, and it'd be a very unpleasant experience. But I've tried this about 100 times, and every time you land right there, you're actually a little farther away from the trapdoor. As you can see, I can move into it. So I think this is the best experience to have the trapdoor there. You don't need it there, but I have it there instead of just a sign. But yes, I have the button. It swaps it. Basically, all you need is... actually, this one is useless, but all you need is 2 pistons like this, and then something to update them, like this observer. Without the observer, this one gets locked up until it receives a block update. And so that's what the observer does. The observer gives it a block update by noticing that this has been powered, and then 2 ticks later, I'm pretty sure, it will send a little pulse here, and that will activate it. It takes 1 pulse for that to go out, so there's 1 pulse in here, and then another pulse once it's out to activate it, and then it'll fully push out. That's why there's a bit of a delay. When I unactivate, this one seems to do it immediately. Don't really know the reason for that. But if you're having trouble and it's getting stuck, just maybe add it to the other side. I was having it with this. I would change one little thing, and then one piston would be the dominant piston, the other one wouldn't. That's what this is. This is the dominant piston. Because even if you start it like that, this one will always take over. Ignore the bells. This is a noise machine. And I was testing... I realized when I was running at that, you could actually step up bells. I wasn't aware you could, but... yeah, the main thing is just press the button, get a pearl, throw up the pearl, press the button again, and then it keeps it there until someone else presses the button. I also have a system where it lights up to know if it's active or not, using, I don't know which update this came out. I think it was 1.16.1. but they changed the ways walls work. Basically, say they're smooth all the way up, even though they're on top of each other. But if this one gets obstructed and becomes a pillar, then every pillar and every wall in the stack will become a pillar. So you can use that with an observer to get a block update. And you can actually have lines of basically redstone, but not actually redstone, going down a limitless distance right next to each other without them interfering. So that's all it is up here. I have levers pushing in pistons that make these walls pillars instead of walls. And then underneath I have repeaters going into pistons to spit out the blocks. I use that over here with this cauldron full of water to power this light right here. Oh, this was the slab. To power that light right there. This is actually a very nice feature. It has nothing to do with the Ender Pearl thing or the update. It's been here for a while. Oh, as for the circuit right here, basically it uses the locking of repeaters to either have just a toggle. You're able to turn a button into a toggle. It can either be falling edge or the other one, where it happens as soon as you press the button. And say you can even change it. So even though the only difference between these two is which side this button is on with the torch. But you can even have it on this side and have a secondary torch here with the button, and it will still be falling edge. So with this one, if you just had the button here, now it's no longer falling edge. Oh, but that didn't toggle. Alright, well, not sure why that's not. Oh, I'm dumb. It is toggling. It's just that the torch is lighting it up, but it is toggling correctly. But yeah, you are able to change it depending on your space. Like here, I didn't really care enough to change it, so I just added that torch. But over here, I wanted this one to be pretty good, so I moved it. It just depends on where the button is. You can have the exact same setup, and if you just move the button and the torch to the left side, it will make it no longer a falling edge. And if you don't want to make all this, you can just use a lever. If you do the exact same thing and just hook up a lever like I did over here, it works just as well. I also forgot to talk about this circuit up here. Basically, it's just a tripwire hook, but because the Ender Pearl bobs, it can be a little unpredictable and it will bob in and out of the tripwire hook, so I just have both of these repeaters set to max. So even if it bobs a little bit, see how it's deactivating, activating, it will still keep this piston retracted. That's all it is. And I would make sure to don't have any blocks here, because when it first shoots up, it likes to shoot up a block above, so just make sure you have clearance. But yeah, that's it. It's a very simple design. Go ahead and just make it your own, I guess. Doesn't really need to be exactly this. This isn't a tutorial, it's just a proof of concept. You just have another player hit the button. No matter where you are in the overworld. I'm not sure, but I'm almost certain that Ender Pearls cannot teleport you between dimensions. But besides that, you should be good. You could have some of these in the Nether, some of these in the overworld. I'm definitely gonna have at least one in the Nether, because coming back to my portals in the Nether can be very tedious, especially if I don't have any wood on me. But you can find wood in the Nether, but it'd just be nicer to have someone hop in the Nether real quick, press a button, then I'm home. Well, I hope this inspired some of you. Again, this isn't a tutorial. I'm not doing a step-by-step build. I just hope you take these ideas together with your own and make something. Yeah, that's it. Alright, well, See ya.